So in this video, I want to talk about being the fit guy with no life. And this is actually a trap that I fell into in my younger years. And this video doesn't necessarily help you make more gains. Well, it can, and I'll get to that in a minute. But you don't want to be the grindset mindset, just fitness and money guy. You don't want to be that guy. You don't want to be that guy because you're not actually going to be happy. And I believe it's subjective to what stage you are in life. And this video is really for people who you discovered self-improvement, right? You discovered self-improvement. That's why you're on my channel. You discovered fitness and motivational sort of mindset talks like this. If this video found you, then you're definitely in the self-improvement fitness niche. So you understand self-improvement and fitness. But there is a chance that you may be the guy who's actually never had success with women, never had success socially. You never got to explore your social life. Your emotional side is very, very, very stunted. You don't have much experience. And you could be the guy who simply uses fitness and self improvement as an excuse and an escape from having an abundant social life and dating life and sexual life. Whether you're trying to wait for marriage or not, that's up to you. But like my point is that your other pillars, your other side of yourself, not the grindset mindset, prefrontal cortex side, but the side of you that needs to be emotionally fulfilled is lacking. And you may fall into the category, a lot of guys fall into the category of just using this grindset shit as an excuse. And I see a lot of it on social media where, you'll see like these sort of motivational posts. I see it on my YouTube feed for some reason. I'm not on Instagram or Snapchat, but I see it on my YouTube feed where like it'll be like this boondock style character. It was like money hustler's mindset. And it's just like this sad, lonely guy, like on his bed, like he's just hunched over on his bed, like think about money, and there's like a Bible on this desk, and there's like a money, like a fucking money symbol behind him, and he's just sitting there. He's like, yeah, I'm just thinking about money and hustling. It's like, okay, like if you're traumatized like Bruce Wayne and your family died because you didn't have enough money in your account, like I understand that, but most of you guys ain't like that, and you guys will sit up here and look at shit like that online and think that, oh, that's how I should be, because if when I make money and I get muscle, I'll get girls anyway, I'll have friends anyway, so I'll just focus on that first, and then once I do that, then I'll make friends and get girls and have money. No, that's actually not the case. And I fell into this trap. I thought that having a fit body would be my ticket into having an abundant sexual and social and just a fun life, just a fulfilling life. But that's actually not the case. That's actually not the case. You actually have to physically put yourself out there and actually take practical steps into learning how to navigate that life, taking the chance to be brave and actually exploring that life. So I want to talk about it in this video, like, don't be the fit guy with no life, because a lot of guys think that being this grindset mindset guy will get them what we just talked about, will get them respect, women, happiness, a social life, will have a lot of friends. Occasionally, if you're just this gym rat guy, like you'll occasionally see a guy in the gym and he'll be like, oh, nice physique, bro. And then you'll probably never talk to him ever again. Like you'll probably just like see him in the gym and it'll never go past the gym, right? You won't actually like get him to like go out and you guys go to a bar, or you guys go rock climbing, or go on a run and like maybe like meet some girls at the run club or at the rock climbing gym, and like, I don't know, go on a date or two man or something. Like you're not gonna do that, bro. You're not gonna do that. So that stuff doesn't lead you directly to it. You actually need to target having like a social life, because what happened is I had this cycle of going to the weight room, having a job, earning money, eating and sleeping, and then it just became tired. Like I just became tiresome, and I hated the journey. So I'm gonna tell you a story about me. So when I was in university, when I was in college and high school, like I said, I thought having the physique would be like my ticket to, you know, a social life. And the thing is, it kind of was, because people saw I was like a big black dude, right? And they wanted a fraternity. And this college was like, it was a historically a HBCU, but there was just a lot of white people because, like, it's South Carolina, right? I could have joined the frat. I didn't, because I'm like, oh, I'm an introvert and all this other stuff, and just basically being a wuss, just not accepting my true nature, what I really wanted to go to college for, what I really wanted to go to college for. Let's just be honest. And I would just expect, a lot of guys had this mindset where they just expect it to just fall in their lap, right? You just expect women and a social life and friends to just fall in your lap. And part of that is actually true. Part of that is true. On occasion, it did happen. Like, I would go on I pretend to be this guy who's like, oh, I don't need it, but like I would still go on Tinder. Like I was still always like on Tinder, always on dating apps and stuff like that. And I'd get matches, and yeah, like I'd hook up, but my life was still like really unfulfilled socially. Like I didn't have that connection with people. I didn't have a real connection with anyone, because I didn't have good social skills, and because I didn't have good social skills, my life kind of dwindled away. It just kind of became more redundant, and I just had this cycle of just gym, money, eat, sleep, and it got worse when I got out of college, because then I just went into a trade school, which made my life even worse. That ostracized me even more socially. I would have rather stayed in college. And then I went to from that to actually just being an employed man. And that's one thing guys don't realize, especially when they're young, that though, how do I say this? The advent of the darkest time in your life is when you become an employed man. When you go from, even unemployed man is worse, but employed man is still bad. When you go from employed single man, there we go, employed single man. When you go from university student, you become lonelier. You don't want to be the lonely fit guy who just works out. And it's worse because you're expecting your muscles and you're expecting your money to get you what you want, but it just gets you muscles and money. You're able to lift more shit and afford more things, right? And you most likely will spend that money on stuff that's not good for you, because when you ostracize your brain, loneliness is actually more detrimental than cigarettes. Like it's actually worse for your brain and worse for your body than cigarettes. So my health actually declined. Like my gains actually got worse because I got lonely. You don't want to be that fit guy, that super duper jack dude in the gym with like who's just ungroomed and unkempt. That is just very unapproachable, because even when you see guys like that in the gym who are super jacked and they just look like a mean person, just an unhappy person, like they don't smile, they just seem like very unapproachable and weird. Even though you want to compliment their physique, you don't even go up to them. You don't even go up to them. Isn't that kind of odd? But I fell in this trap. And then eventually, once I actually started to have a social life, and this was really after I joined the military, once I actually had like a social life and I started going out, having fun, and actually integrating myself socially, that's when like my gains started to get better, because I didn't mention, meanwhile, I was doing this cycle in university. I would see guys who weren't even as jacked as me, guys who weren't even like as fit as me or anything. And they would be with the girl that I wanted. They would be with they would have the life that I wanted. They would have all the fun and the friends, and get with like 10 times more girls than me without needing to use dating apps. And it was because they're just simply socially integrated. It's because they simply had a social life. And I would expect, I'm like, they're not even like as fit as me and have as much money. It's like, you don't be that guy, bro. Don't be that guy. Like, you probably think that like just being fit and having money is gonna make you happy. And again, this video is for you if you're genuinely like not this guy who struggles with this. If you're a guy who's like, listen, like I've had that lifestyle, I just want to get fit, then this video isn't really for you. You can click off, genuinely. But I'm trying to get people to stay away from this mindset of, oh, it's just grind set fitness. Like don't cope. Like don't cope. You need to have a life. You gotta have a life. Don't make fitness. And because of this, I made fitness my entire identity. I made fitness my entire identity. I acted like fitness is just, oh, I'm just the fit guy. Like, no, I'm not. But once I actually started going out and started to socially integrate myself, fitness actually became more fun, because before fitness kind of felt like shit, but fitness actually became more fun. Why? It's because when I socially integrated myself, I saw how easy it was with the fit body. It is to date, it is to make friends, it is to attract people, it is to become a leader of a group. I saw how much my physical body, my physical appearance actually contributed to making all that stuff better. To getting girls, bro. Like, let's just be honest, to getting girls, like you want to get girls. And fitness became more valuable, because before, fitness didn't even feel that valuable. When you're just this guy who's just alone with muscle and money, it doesn't really feel that good. But when you have muscle and you have money and you're able to like actually share it with other people via girls, wanting to touch your chest at a lake, or you're being able to afford food for your friends, that's when it actually feels worth it. Like when you just hold on to it, when a river doesn't flow, it becomes stagnant. Like the Dead Sea, right? The Dead Sea is a sea that actually is constricted from other body parts of water, from other bodies of water. So as a result, it just remains salty and fish don't live because the river doesn't flow. But when it flows to other, like rivers that actually flow to other rivers and circulate and connects to other bodies of water, they're the ones that have the most aquatic life in it because they're able to cycle out the unfresh water and cycle out all the salinity of the bodies of water and the bodies of oceans. And it's the same way with people. Like you need to have a social life. You need to be the fit guy with the life because of me getting a life, I actually reinforced the joy of fitness. And fitness no longer became something I did out of scarcity, but it became a necessary byproduct of a fulfilling life. In my last video, I talked about the bicep girl, the girl who was like grabbing onto my arm and stuff. And she was drunk, so I did not take her. I was not gonna mess with that. But she was grabbing onto my bicep and stuff. This one time, like I went to the same bar, a chick like came up to me and just started like touching on my shoulders and my chest and all that stuff. But I guarantee you, it wouldn't have happened if I didn't socially calibrate myself, learn how to dress, learn how to be comfortable with myself, learn how to talk to women, be a social guy, make friends, and talk to people. It wouldn't have happened. And those encounters, though trivial, even though you may be watching this video and thinking, "Oh, that's degenerate. Oh, I don't really care about that stuff. I'm too good for that." Bro, click off, man. Click off. I'm about to chop on you in a minute once I get to the next topic. But it's like that stuff is reinforcing to me. It's reinforcing. It gave me a new perspective of fitness. Like, wow, like I actually really value going to the gym because it provided me the option. It gives me options in the future. Like I don't want to be the guy who gets married to a woman. You don't want to be the guy who gets married to a woman because you don't have a choice. Like I see like, oh man, like this can actually get me more options. This can get me more options and give me more success with dating. And that's the thing about having a life. Like it gives you a new layer to fitness. So let me talk about actual practical steps of how you can do this. The first thing you need to do is integrate your dark side. You need to learn to admit what it is that you actually want. I'm reading this book. Well, I've actually already read this book, but The Way of the Superior Man by David Data, one of the best books that you can ever buy. The format's a little weird because I wanted it to flow, but it's more so like fragmented into just different lessons, different chapters. Chapter 36 of part 5, which is page 130, it says, own your darkest desires. You need to own your darkest desires. You need to own up to what it is that you actually want in your life. And you need to be real, authentic, and selfish about it. You need to own up to the desires that your mom would be like, Malky, why would you say some shit like that? Just like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I want to get girls, bro. I want to get girls, and I'll sleep with a lot of them, or I just want to have a lot of options so I can find the wife that I want, or whatever the heck. Or I want guys to respect me, or maybe you want guys to fear you. You have to own up to whatever it is. You have to own up to it. That's the first step. You got to integrate your darkest desires. You guys who are talking about, oh, unless you're really like this, unless you've actually had a life and you've had the life that I wanted when I was like before I socially integrated myself. Unless you're really like this, if you're this guy who you don't have a life, you don't have experience, you're probably a virgin and you're just like kind of like this low key guy and you don't really like do a whole lot, and you don't have experience and you're envious. First of all, you need to admit that you're envious, that you're jealous of guys like me and like maybe some of your friends who are having this abundant life, whether you're fit or not. But you also need to like get out your own way. You need to admit this because being unfulfilled and dissatisfied is a precursor to change. So you need to allow yourself to be dissatisfied, and you do that by owning your darkest desires. And I've talked about this in my videos before, but you need to own up to them. That's the first thing. And it doesn't have to be about dating. It doesn't have to be about that. It can just be about pretty much any facet of your life that you feel like is lacking, that's leaving you kind of not whole. And the second thing you need to do is you need to make goals and find ways to track your progress towards those goals and constantly find new ways to make those goals more attainable. That's learning game. That's getting out socially, right? If it's women, you need to learn game, you need to get out socially. If it's money, you need to read books, learn strategies on saving, making money. If it's friends, you need to read books like How to Win Friends and Influence People. You need to get out there and actually have a social life and learn to socially calibrate yourself and actually try this and change your environment and make drastic changes to work towards this. And the third thing I mentioned is you need to learn new strategies on a daily basis. Because something that I recently learned in this book called The Motivation Myth. I didn't actually read the book, but I got to get the Audible preview version of it, and it's actually on the. I just ordered it on Amazon. That shit should be here by now. But you are most motivated by success. You are motivated by achieving success. When you learn new things on how to achieve a goal, success seems more attainable. You become more motivated. You need to learn new ways to be motivated to do things. When I realized that I stopped a weird behavior, like maybe I learned to stop being needy, or maybe stop texting back so fast when it comes down to dating or whatever, and I saw that it worked, I became more motivated. When I learned how to have conversation and just be calm in myself and actually have deep conversations that I actually enjoy having with women and connecting with them, I actually am motivated to talk to women more often. When I see that I can spark up a conversation with any guy and instantly learn how to make them be my friend or whatever, not in a manipulative way at all, really, but just in a general way, like I'm more motivated to do these things. Or even with YouTube, I learned new strategies. With business, I learned new strategies. Learn new strategies to make your life more whole, and that will actually keep you motivated and will keep the ball rolling. And the final step that you need to do, the fourth thing, you need to learn how this actually relates to fitness, how this actually relates to you building muscle. Because I promise you, like I can make 10 fucking thousand videos on how everything does relate to fitness. And you know what? I probably will. But you need to find out for yourself, how does this relate to fitness? How does this relate to me as a person? How does this relate to me building muscle? How does having a social life, how does making more money, how does becoming more connected with God, how does spirituality relate to me disciplining my body and building muscle? Because in a way, in a philosophical way and in a really practical way, it actually does connect to it some way. And that will enable you to find more deeper reasonings and deeper layers and deeper meanings to your fitness life. Because the reason, again, I want to reinforce this before I click off the video, before the video is over. The reason why being the fit guy with no life, hypothetically, just being a dungeon master and just a guy who just hits the gym all the time, it sounds like you'll get pretty jacked, right? And you know, you probably will, but I just don't want you to be unhappy doing it. I want you to actually enjoy your fucking life. Like, I wouldn't want that for myself, so why would I want that for my viewer? The reason why is because you'll hate your life, but you'll actually probably quit. A lot of guys really aren't like me. A lot of guys won't stick to it. A lot of guys will actually be like, man, fuck this, and just go do something else. People don't keep the same reasonings behind doing the stuff that they do. You are constantly evolving. I don't work for the same reason that I used to. I don't work to get a bicycle anymore. I don't work to get a car. I don't even like, I don't just do it for that stuff. I don't just work to just pay my bills. I work because I like work actually purifies me. It's literally a Saturday morning right now and I'm doing work because I genuinely enjoy working. My reasons constantly evolve and stack on each other. And you can't just, you stunt yourself from finding those reasons by being the fit guy with no life. Because I guarantee you, if you fall in this category, you probably think your life is shit right now. You probably think your life is shit. And it feels like the results that you're breeding in the gym, all this is just a waste. You feel like it's a waste, and it's really not. You need to realize why this shit here is actually like really worth it. It's actually insanely worth it, outside of just the reasons of, oh, I just want to be healthy, I'm just going to do it for me. I hope this video was valuable to you. This stuff really isn't in my course. It might be, but I do have a course, top link in the description, if you want to learn how to build lean mass, meaning you're not putting on a whole bunch of fat while you're bulking. If you want to just learn how to just look lean like me, you know, get that, yeah, boy, then just go ahead, top link in the description. And, you know, if you want to learn more, go ahead and click on this video. Goodbye.